Text Prison Story family salute, y'all. You know who it is. It's your boy Tim Snow. Just want to tell everybody what's up, man. We got a good one tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about creepy Josh Duggar. And we got some news I want to break down coming from Ellis unit that TDCJ themselves shared out. And then got another incident that happened 3 days ago that was really tragic. Unfortunate that, of course, TDCJ didn't share out. It was independent media that did. And before I get started, man, I want to send a big shout out to Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball. In the last video, well, about 2 videos ago, probably about a month ago, I did a shout out to her and her channel. And I said, somebody let her know that my mom likes her and that's her favorite YouTuber. My mom didn't even think she was going to end up seeing it, but I told her she would. And lo and behold, about 2 days later, Katie was in the comments telling me to DM her. So that was a lot of love, but it gets much better. A couple of days after that, this woman that I've never met before, total stranger, just somebody who watched her show actually shouted me out in her channel, told my mom hi, and listed one of my videos across the screen. And if y'all don't know who she is, she's one of the hottest YouTubers right now. She does a lot of gossip, stuff like that. And of course, as you know about Josh Duggar. So Katie, if you see this one again, I just want to say thank you truly from the bottom of my heart, because you have a big channel. I did get subscribers after that, and you did it for free. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what she touched on about Josh Duggar, about him having a penitentiary girlfriend. Okay. And man, I don't think anybody should be surprised with the man. It's been proven time and time again that he's pretty much a sexual deviant. Not only will he participate in child pornography, he molested his own sisters, which hard to get. Molesting anybody is bad, evil, but doing it to your own sisters is just the next level evil. You know what I mean? It's something that is kind of unbelievable. So anything that he would do after that is pretty much kind of expected, or at least not to be surprised. One time my sister actually told me a story about a person that lived by her. He had been to the penitentiary for molesting a young child, I think was 3 or 4 years old. Everybody thought he was, quote, normal now. His next victim was an 81-year-old lady, I believe, 81, 82. So people like that, they really don't care how they get their kicks. You know what I mean? They're going to do whatever pleases them, I guess you would say. And damn the victim. They prey on weak people, old people, sick people, mentally slow people, things like that. So not very surprised to hear before he went to the shoe that he had a girlfriend in there, because we talked about it before. He's at Seagoville Low right now, where the majority of the inmates there are sex predators, child pornographers, things like that. Hell, I'll see y'all in the comments. I'll get to you in a little bit. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. But he's there with a lot of deviants, okay, mixed in with some solid guys that work their way down. Everybody that's there is not that type of person. Don't get me wrong, okay? But the way the federal system works, it's on a security point level, okay? When you come in, I believe it's, if you're under 25, they add some points. No GED, they add some points. Violent history of crime, they add some points. Known drug use, they add some points. Okay, there's a lot of things that get people security points. Your security points based where you live. Okay, it can be at the prison camp, which a lot of them don't even have fences. That's the True Club Fed. As we know, the one in Beaumont, they finally had to put a fence on it because they caught so many men running off, coming back. They would run off through the woods, go to the freeway, and come back with a backpack full of contraband. What got them hot and got their fence built was a young man, I think from Chicago. He didn't have any money. He was working for the other guys. They told him, if you run and get the backpack, we'll give you some of it. So he took the chance. He didn't care. He got the backpack and took off running. Okay. That's the security this place was. I think 600 inmates, 2 guards at night, and they go in the front and just relax and let you do whatever you want to do. The environment has a possibility of being extremely wild, but it's not, because almost every person there is first-time offenders, non-violent, white-collar criminals, child predators, things like that. And when I say child predators, most of them in the feds are there for child pornography. There's very few people that are actually there for molesting children, because that's more of a state charge. What will get you massive fed time is taking a child across state lines for prostitution. It's basically child trafficking. That gets you a lot of time. You probably won't be at that camp. But anyway, that's the friendliest. And I believe you have to have less than 10 years to be at that camp. Josh Duggar was sentenced to 12 years. So he missed that camp by 2, even if his security points was low enough to go. Okay. What I didn't realize in the last video too, when I was saying about him getting transferred to the medium, I kind of forgot about the security points. Duggar has an education. I don't think he has any violent, like aggravated assaults, attempted murders, none of that type of stuff. He's not a gang member. So his points were probably pretty damn low, probably almost camp points. Then I realized that he just turned 35. So that removes 2 security points from you. So I'm not exactly sure where he falls. I'm going to have to stand corrected on that. He might not go to a medium like I thought. He might get sent to another low. But I'm pretty confident that he's going to get transferred. And excuse me, it's hot in here. The reason I say that is because once you're caught with a phone, you're now a security threat. You know, you either compromised the guard, you somehow beat them in visitation, you had a drone flying in, something like that. And unless you just cold run your mouth and tell them how you got it, tell them people work with them and stuff like that, which he might do that, you never know, because they have jailhouse snitches, you know, and they'll even pay them in there. They'll reward them. He should be transferred. All right. Right now, I believe he's still in the shoe. It's probably looking at about 90 days shoe time. If I estimate right, 60 to 90 days, and it can take up to 30 days to actually get sentenced for that. You'll be in what's called PhD, pre-hearing detention. You're basically waiting to see the officer that decides your fate, and that time doesn't count. So that's wasted time. So he still has a little time in there. I will know first off that he's going to be transferred, and it's not just an instant thing, because sometimes it takes a long time. You know, the system is really big. He might have to go back to Oklahoma, get rehoused, stuff like that. But basically, if he doesn't come back out of the shoe, you know what I mean? If another month or 2 he's not in there, he's not in population, you know he's being transferred. And that's when it's time to check the computers. Like I was telling Katie Joy, sometimes the computer updates before the inmates get word that the man is shipped off. So you literally check the FBOP locator. Okay. But the topic, what I was talking about, him having a prison girlfriend. Okay. Katie said something that made me laugh. I swear she cracked me up, because I've heard this from more than one woman. And I think it's kind of normal to assume this. Okay. She said something about that. Of course, there's homosexual inmates that go in, stuff like that. And she also referred to some straight inmates getting so bored that they'll deal with another man like that. And man, I don't know. I just had to laugh, because that's far from true. All right. Never any time that I've been in any situation, facility, county jail, city jail, state jail, TDC, feds, none of that. I've been in all that. Never have I seen a straight man flip, or never have I seen a straight man get curious like that. Because if you're a straight man, another man is going to disgust you. You know, as you look at a man, you know he's hairy, stinks, just everything disgusting about a man. You're not ever going to get that bored. What actually happens is you start fixating on guards, women around you, the staff. You understand? When you first walk in this facility, you're fresh in the system, you might look at them women and go, ugh, what's wrong with these ladies? They need to go work out. They're mean, they yell, stay there long enough, and guess what? They start looking better. They start getting a little bit more interesting to you. You know what I mean? And that's a dangerous game because as they start looking better to you, there's some other guy that's been looking at them 10 years longer that might have a crush on them. A lot of the prison guards will have sexual relations with the inmates. So you might be trying to focus on a woman that somebody else has already got and you don't know because they do it in secret, things like that. That's what a straight man will do. There's penthouse magazines in there, man. There's in the feds, it's a lot harder, but in the state, hey, there's guards that'll do you sexual favors for $100 bill. I've seen women in the state come sneak $100 bill in to their man so he can go give it to a guard and have sex with him. It's just part of the game. A lot of the people that work in the prisons, not all of them, I'll say the majority of them are probably good, but there's a lot of them there, whether they knew it or not. Once they started, they see how the game goes. They see their employees making a ton of money, side hustling and stuff like that. So that's what a normal man does. He literally tries to win them a guard. And I do have a friend from Galveston that actually married a prison guard. I ain't gonna say his name, her name, none of that, because that's irrelevant. But he was on a unit. He fell in love with the lady. Actually, at first, I thought it was a game that he was playing. And I didn't think that he was going to be with her when he got out. Well, guess what? She quit her job, married him. And when he got out, they still live together. They're successful. And he's doing better than he ever did in life. So it's a trip. You know what I mean? It really is. But Josh Duggar himself is just a pervert. You know what I mean? Like I say, molesting kids, child pornography, touching his sisters, no telling what else he did. So it's no surprise that he's doing this, okay? And what I will say is, well, let me explain this because in case you're just a Duggar fan and you don't know about prison, federal prison has something called cars, like the car you drive, okay? Every car is your clique. They're regional. If you're from out of state, if you're in a Texas prison, you might be part of the East Coast car. You might be part of the West Coast car, Midwest car. There was the Louisiana car, stuff like that. And then since we were in Texas, it was broke down by cities. We had the Houston car, the San Antonio car, Dallas car, East Texas car, stuff like that, okay? Josh Duggar is straight up part of the sex offender car, which where I was didn't exist. If you were a non-sex offender, you was going to get beat down, attacked the very first moment anybody found out. I got a good story on my channel called When the Aryan Brotherhood Needed Me, because the guys couldn't figure a dude out. And you just have to watch the story. I'm the one that told him he needed to go, though. Instead of getting a man attacked or anything, because he was from where I live, I didn't even ask him the question. What I did is say, hey, man, if you happen to be a snitch or a sex offender, you got to go. You know what I mean? And he packed up and left. And that was crazy, but it happened. You know what I mean? Baby boy, salute, man. So Duggar is part of the sex offender car. You understand? In a low security prison, they actually exist. First time that I seen that was at FDC Houston on my way home. I couldn't believe it. They had a sex offender TV. They had a sex offender table. And they sat there and they laughed and joked and had fun. And they were in no jeopardy, no danger, nothing. So my friend Big C came over there. Shout out Big C, man. I love you. Big C seen that. He got there a little bit after I did. And he changed all that. Grub Mud, salute. Y'all go subscribe to Grub Mud right there. He's been a day one subscriber. And he's got a channel too. Baby Boy 783. He's got a channel too. Make sure y'all subscribe. But anyway, C came over and removed that privilege from him. He unplugged their TV and told them no more. And they need to start hanging out in their cells. And that's what they did. But nobody else said a word because the majority of those men were from low security prisons. And they were used to that. Me and C had just came from Beaumont, which is a medium/high. We had never seen it. I ain't gonna lie. Me personally, I couldn't believe it when I really seen sex offenders and people that they knew had told on people walking around. And by the way, the people that they know tell on people, they're the same level as the sex offenders, and they'll hang around with each other. Okay, so in this car that Josh Duggar's in, there's not a lot of accountability. They already have no morals, no respect. The solid guys, they turn a side eye at them. They don't even talk to them. They walk wide around them. You know what I mean? And that's what Duggar's part of. He's part of the creepy clique. And that's what I used to call him. And when you see these guys, this is what's scary. About 75% of them are identifiable by looks. Like, you literally look at that person and go, man, that fool looks like a sex offender. And guess what? He probably was. Okay. Almost always like big glasses, be guys with big bald spots, real nerds. Most of them are really, really nerdy for some reason. Okay. But here's the scary part. About 25% of them, 20% of them, you never know by looking at them. And they talk and act cool, act normal, everything. But being that it's the federal system, people would check their paperwork, check their cases, and they couldn't pass. You know what I mean? They couldn't make it. And we actually have a story. I did a interview with my friend AR-15, man. You Stone, salute to him. If you see this, brother, I love you, man. I'm sorry I didn't call you back. But check this out. We got one where they did actually, a guard found a list of some guys that made it through the system. He wrote all their names on it, balled it up, and threw it in the trash can and told the inmate, when I leave, go get that paper out of the trash can. And there was a couple guys in each car on that list. There was quite a few. Every one of them had to pack up and go. Like, literally nobody survived that list. Everybody, get the fuck off this prison. And that's what happened. Okay, so being that he's in a low security prison, he's in a creepy clique, he can do whatever he wants to like that. You know what I mean? And the other people that associate with them the most is the LGBT car. They literally have an LGBT car. And that was where we were. But the LGBT car where we was still wouldn't accept sex offenders or people that told. The leader of that car was from Galveston, doing a 30-year sentence for not telling. So being that he's where he is, him having this girlfriend, it's not even a big deal for him. Nobody's going to beat him up. Nobody's going to say anything to him. He's not going to have any problems. But if a man that was actually on a stiff prison in a gang associated with something like that, tried that, that's a no-go. You know what I mean? And it would happen. But those guys would hide it like hell. You know what I mean? I only seen one time where a straight man was walking around telling the dude that he loved him, like yelling across the rec yard, I love you. It was crazy. And there was an incident. He was from Austin, okay, and he told everybody he was a blood. When the California Bloods heard about that, they pushed up on him and said, say, you're not a blood no more, homie. Well, you can stay over here, do whatever the hell you want to do, because you're from Texas. We're from California. But you're not going to stay over here saying you're a blood messing with a boy. And he said, no problem then. I'm not a blood. I'm in love. I want my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Dropped it right there that instant, never said it again, and did his thing with his girlfriend. And when I say girlfriend, they literally had, I guess they were in the middle of sex changes or whatever, because they had breasts. And what we realized later is if you enter into the federal system on hormones, they have to continue them. So you have men walking around in this prison taking female hormones, female voices, long hair down to their ass. They sell hair care products so they can get it like they want to. They do each other's hair. You know what I mean? And they live their life. And where we were, they didn't treat them very good at all. They were very minority. They had 1-2-man table in the cafeteria, and they had to sit there. Couldn't sit nowhere else. And it really wasn't a good look to be talking to them too much. You know what I mean? And that just is what it is. But you weren't going to mess with them. You weren't going to rape one. You weren't going to steal nothing from one. Nothing like that, because they'd all come together. And then they turn into men on you real quick. I promise you, fight. They had big knives and all that. But again, like I said, where he is, he's not going to have any problems with that. He can literally marry this person on the inside, make him a little paper ring or whatever he wants to do. You know what I mean? Now, if he does get his security points up, then it's not gonna fly for him. He's gonna have to straighten up. And even if they find out he was doing that over here, he's probably going to go to the shoe. If he even goes to a stiff prison, Duggar's going to the hole. He's PC from day one. So he better hope like hell he stays out of trouble. And from everything that I'm seeing with this guy, he thinks that he's this celebrity, feels like he's better than people in prison and stuff like that. He's going to get in more trouble. He's cocky. They said when he got caught with the telephone, he was just laying out in his bed with it open. Got walked right up on by the guards. So, yeah, Duggar is extremely cocky. But he's got a surprise for him. If you keep playing with these people, you keep pushing them, they got places for you, and they'll full well send you to a prison where they know you got to go check in on the first day. When you get off the bus and they interview you and they see you have that sex offender case, they're going to tell you your life is in danger in this prison. Do you still want to go out there, or do you want to go to PC? PC is the exact same thing as the shoe. It's not luxury, nothing, okay? It's going to be a 2-man cell, no TV. You get your radio, but the only thing you can even buy. See, this is what they didn't realize. Josh Duggar back there right now is starving to death. You know what I mean? He's literally stomach rumbling right now, y'all. I can promise you. Because the only thing they allow you in the shoe is 1 bag of coffee and 1 Snickers. And that's after your restriction is up. So he's gonna lose some visitation. He's gonna lose privilege to the rec yard for a little while, and they can take his phone time along with his good time. It's not just gonna be a few days good time. They can do that for as long as they want. I've seen guys lose their phone time for a year, 6 months, 90 days. Most common was 30, 30, 30. No restriction, no commissary, no phone, no rec for 30, 30, 30. Okay, but it gets way more than that. And that offense that he got caught with is pretty serious. So he's seeing right now in that shoe, even in a low security prison, the first time what it's actually like to do some time, because he's going to be out of there. And I really, truly think still in the bottom of my heart that they're going to move him. If they put a man caught with a phone back out into the same institution, that's unbelievably crazy. And that's how you know he will have somebody that's protecting him or something like that, or so associating with one of the guards or something. They pull strings like that, but there's no way that he should do that, and I don't know. It's just a terrible situation with all the victims that he had, and I don't know. He shouldn't be in a prison like that. That's what I said in my last video. Okay, they do your security points based on violent crimes, but do not consider anything with a child like that violent. I believe the child pornography, if you help produce it, you're looking at it or whatever, you're supporting abuse on that kid, it should be considered a violent crime. But our system is dirty, and you can get probation for molesting a kid and get 10 years for a small amount of drugs. Something ain't right. You know what I mean? And we need to change that. That's what we do. But so I'm going to change topics for a little bit here. I'm going to go in because this is amazing what just happened and how they're spinning it on Ellis unit. If you see in the title, on Ellis unit is notorious for being one of the original prisons. It's hardcore. It was the home of death row. You know what I mean? It's about as serious as it gets. If anywhere in the world, Ellis won. All right. And it's named after O.B. Ellis. He was a famous guy here in Texas for some, probably the prison shit. I don't even know. I ain't gonna lie. He probably was a warden on him. But check this out right here. Look, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice said a large stash of contraband was recently discovered on the grounds of Ellis unit. Officers were alerted to a suspicious vehicle, and upon questioning the driver, the vehicle drove off. Officers searched the area and found 2 trash bags and the cattle guard. While searching the trash bags, officers found 2 cell phones with chargers, 1.7 ounces of crystal-like substance, which was probably crystal meth, 16.8 ounces of cigarettes, and 30 ounces of loose tobacco, 7.8 ounces of a white powder, which was probably cocaine, 3 ounces of brown pills, which I do not know. I never even heard of a brown pill, so I don't know, and 3.7 ounces of blue and white pills. one flash drive, two SIM cards, and 1.2 ounces of an unknown substance, which was probably K2. But this is what I want you to check out. Look where it was placed right here. If you haven't been around farms or whatever, they lay these pipes down at the entrance of roads, entrance of facilities or whatever, so a cow won't step in it because he'll know he'll break his arm. Okay, that's one trash bag. There's a picture of two trash bags right there. Okay, look how big they are. Here's a better shot of the contraband. Okay, what I want you to think about is this. Okay, a random car pulls up. Okay, and looks suspicious. They question them. So why is this random car here? They know pretty much probably launching a drone, dropping contraband. All right, that's been caught by people many, many times. I ain't telling the game or nothing. They've been caught so many times. It's unbelievable. The same trick is tried over and over and over again. Excuse me. Lots of times the trick works. Okay, but this is what I want you to know. Any person that had access to go in and out of there as an inmate, maybe on the grounds crew, the guy that weed eats out there, does the flower beds, anybody on this prison is now going to be probably fired, transferred, going to the hole. Anybody suspected of this that even could have touched this. But what you got to realize is there's no inmate coming in and out of a building anywhere without getting strip searched. In the state of Texas, you have to get strip searched to go to rec. And I mean, you're going to squat, cough, spread your butt cheeks, lift up your testicles, like raise the bottom of your feet, rub your hands through your hair, all this stuff. Okay, you're constantly going to be searched. I used to call it the butt naked club because going to medical, you're going to squat, cough, do all that, lift them up, everything. Going to it, coming back. Going to education, coming back. Any type of job, working in the fields, all that. You're going to do this. Okay. Now I know there's some bad cats in prison at this game, but Wes Watson is one of them. But who do you know that could put two trash bags in their rectum, squat, cough, and bring them in? Okay. How in the world is it possible for somebody to be dropping two trash bags like that without the guards participating? You understand? See, TDC released this, not realizing how bad it makes them look. They're thinking, oh, we're going to put this on the inmate's family, dropping off. Blah, blah, blah. No, sir, you just expose your officers more. Crooked in the system. You understand? They have to start looking at which guard was going to bring this in. You understand? Who is this getting dropped off for? Because it's not the inmates. If anything, an inmate was helping the guard. You understand? Because they're the ones that do it, man. So that was just something that I wanted to talk about because of the fact on this next story, they didn't release the one that they thought was going to look bad on them. Okay. TDC, I say it all the time, there's zero transparency in the system. None. Let me pull this one up. So you have to understand that you as an inmate, you're going in with no protection, no help from the outside world, anything. Anything can happen to you. I see in a lot of the prison groups and stuff like that online, people are always asking how they can contact the warden, how they can help their family member. They're not getting their mail, commissary's late. Well, guess what? You can't do nothing about that on the outside. I'm sorry to tell you. If your loved one is in there, they're state property. You will never, ever, ever know how bad a state property they are until something happens to them. Then you start feeling helpless and powerless. You understand? So my next story here is about the prison bus that crashed. It crashed 3 days ago up in Livingston. Let me see if I can pull the story up. This has always been one of my worst fears. I can't lie. This is like something that you can't control, you can't stop, and you can't help yourself. Let me read the story first. Let me show you. Hold on. It says Texas Department of Criminal Justice transport van crashes and rolls 3 times. And let me see if I can pull that up right here. I think I can. Yeah, there's the picture right there. This story is sad, and I'm gonna tell you from personal reason why. When you see what happened and how bad it is, it's horrible. Look, you see that picture right there? That's what I'm talking about right now. Okay. It says at approximately 8:15 a.m. on March 19th, 2023, a Texas Department of Corrections transport van was northbound on US 59. For some reason, the driver, Jatavion Rigsby, 26, of St. Augustine, Texas, abruptly cut left, then overcorrected right. He left the pavement to the right and rolled 3 times, striking several hackberry trees. The van came to rest upside down on a barbed wire fence in Goodrich, less than 2 miles from the Trinity River. Okay. He unexplainably swerved left then right, overcorrected, and was obviously going too fast. Look at that. The man in the back was in his 60s, shackled, wheelchair patient from Gibb Lewis unit. Gibb Lewis unit is cursed over there, man. I swear. What a horrible place to be. They had to use the jaws of life to get all 3 of these people out, and all 3 of them, I believe, transported by helicopter. It was so bad. All right. And if you want to Google TDCJ crash, you wouldn't believe how many times this happens. And I mean, real often. And they will never release it themselves. You understand? You always got to go look for it or find it in a little rinky-dink newspaper somewhere or something like that. Well, guess what I seen the next day after this crash, which was, I guess, 2 days after. The crash happened on the 19th. It's 22nd. On the 20th, I'm a professional truck driver. That's what I do, man. I ride on the freeways and stuff. So I got the crash fresh in my mind. You understand? So I'm paying attention. I'm going 5 miles over the speed limit. I ain't gonna lie. I'm flowing with the traffic. It's a 55. All of us are going about 60. Guess who flies by us going about 70, whipping in and out of cars. Left, right, left, weaving like a damn teenager. A TDC medical transport van. The same stuff I see all the time. And I happen to drive down here in Galveston, all the way to Houston, all the way to Beaumont. No telling where I'm going to be. Some days I'm in Beaumont, some days I'm in Houston, some days I'm in Galveston. Been doing this for years. All 3 places have prisons. All 3 places have buses and vans and everything going. I don't remember ever seeing one driving right. Now, I'm not saying they're swerving, like leaving their lanes and doing like this, but they're always speeding. They're always in a hurry. They're always cutting cars off, passing around them, stuff like that. And there's people in the back. No, they're not school children. Yes, they're criminals. But that person in front is still, and I mean still responsible for their life. You understand? And theirs, and their colleague in the back. And maybe sometimes there's 2 officers on it. So I'm wondering how, as a professional truck driver, I'm wondering who trains these people. This man was 26. If you are 26 years old and you got your CDL, it's going to be extremely hard to find a job. You're too young, you got no experience, anything. But guess who will hire you? TDC. I guess they let you practice with the inmates. It's sad as hell. And I'm sure they have some really good bus drivers, some really good van drivers. But the deal with Gonzalo Lopez, the escaped inmate, which shout out to all the people that watched that video. I am the one that broke the news on how he escaped. And everybody thought I was full of shit until it actually hit the media way later. Okay, they were using the same bus over and over again, never checking it, never rotating it because they're so short on staff. They were bringing people out of the buildings to help run the bus, stuff like this. So I know they're having a staffing crisis, but certain things you can't take shortcuts on, and that's safe drivers. If they're so bad and it gets like that, I drove a trash truck before that had a GPS on it where my boss could tell how fast I'm going, what that speed limit was, where I was at, and if I turned the motor off. Yet these state-owned, state-provided, state-trained people obviously don't have that. It'd be a pretty good idea to be able to track your bus just in case somebody did something, wouldn't you think? But no, they don't have that because I don't have proof, but I have the real strong feeling that they're encouraged to hurry the hell up. How about that? They're short-staffed. They're trying to get the job done. And a chain bus might go a bunch of different places on one day. So they're covering big ground. You know what I mean? And I just think they need to do a lot better. They're going to end up killing some civilians. When was the last one? I remember down by Corpus, a big bus full of people crash, flip over. It's just happening a lot, man. Y'all Google it yourself if you're watching this. If you don't believe me, it's way too often. But I wanted to do those two stories just to show you how TDC will release that info about the drugs, not realizing it made themselves look bad, but not release the info about their employee causing the crash. You understand? Because as a professional driver, I understand accidents happen. You know, I've made mistakes before, and I'm sure I'll make more. But I'm always trying my best. You understand? There's never a time where I'm driving and be like, man, I just don't care today, or these people around me don't matter, or none of that. You know what I mean? Like you can't road rage as a driver. You can't be aggressive as a professional driver. You have to let people pass around you when they want to. Don't, just keep your distance from people. And me personally, witness them constantly with the aggressive driving. I've been on the chain buses where they're flying down little roads and turning sharp, and you feel like you're going to flip. That's because you probably were almost about to flip, So they have to do a little bit better, man. And again, I'm going to say thank you because I said it at the first of the video, but I just seen somebody mention Katie Joy without a crystal ball. Thank you so much, Katie, for sharing out my video, for putting my stuff across the screen, saying hi to my mama. That meant a lot, y'all. And I appreciate everybody that's been here, man. I see a bunch of day ones right there. Zaydog, Sha, Denitza, everybody, man. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I ignored the comments on this video, but I kind of want to get it done. I've had a long week. I was going to do it last night. Oh, you know what? I'm going to tell y'all something crazy before I go. Y'all don't go nowhere. I ain't going to believe what happened. This is totally off topic, but I'll talk about my daughter a little bit. If there's any women that are watching this at the end, drop me a comment and tell me what you think, man. My little daughter is such a trip. Okay, she's for about the last month, she'll go through a little day or two where she don't want to go to school. In the morning, Monday, I worked a little bit Monday, but in the evening time, I didn't work the morning. So I took her to school myself. She told me, she said, Daddy, I'm gonna go to the nurse today and try to come home. At 4 years old, I said, no, you're not, baby. I said, you're not sick. That's bad. Don't do it. You got to stay in school. Okay. She said, okay, Daddy. She didn't do it. Today's Wednesday. I get a call from the nurse. This little girl done went in there and stuck her hand in her mouth and made herself throw up in the cafeteria the first 10 minutes of school. Couldn't believe she was that sneaky, y'all. I didn't know what to do. I made her come home, sit in her room, and just not watch TV, read books. It's too little to really spank her, and can't do much, but I don't know. It's one of them weird dad moments. I want to throw that in the video because Ella Rose, when you're older, I'm going to make you watch this. And you better start going to school. How about this? Text Prison Story family, I love y'all, and I'll catch y'all later. Thank you for being here.